legislature. My team and I are meeting right after this to talk about the issues that are important to us. Both party leaders have reached out to us to set up meetings. Our first step, of course, is to chat as a caucus to ensure that we get together on the same page as to what are the priority issues to us as we look forward to working with whoever we decide has the most commonality with platforms. I'm excited about the potential of actually changing politics here in British Columbia. We've talked about a number of things already, and I'm looking forward to the meetings with the other party leaders in the coming weeks. Both of them have reached out to us. We will have meetings set up shortly. Thank you.
This is uncharted territory for you guys. So what's kind of the first order of business, concretely, specifically? What are you going to talk about?
Well, we know we've put it on record that the most important issue for us right now, and number one deal breaker, is banning big money in BC politics. We are described as the Wild West here. It is a non-negotiable issue for us to support either of the parties, because we need to get big money out of BC politics. We need to reclaim the democracy for the people of British Columbia. That's why Adam got involved. That's why Sonia got involved. That's why our rest of our candidates got involved in politics, and that's our priority right now.
How far are you willing to move on other policies?
We're willing to negotiate. We're willing to negotiate. Now, BC Greens are running because we are here first and foremost to bring good public policy forward to the BC legislature. For us, it's about the policy. It's about ensuring British Columbia's interests are first. We understand what compromise means, and we're willing to compromise, of course. That's the nature of good public policy, is you have a diversity of views and you come together with a consensus. That's the best way to actually move forward.
What do you make of the federal party's release touting the closeness to provincial NDP and the similarity you guys have in terms of policy making?
The federal, which
Green Party,
I have not
release.
I have not seen the federal Green Party release, so I have no idea. I mean, I've been busy talking to my colleagues, not busy reading releases from others.
Have you talked to Ms. May?
No, I haven't spoken to Ms. May. This is we are separate parties. This is provincial. I've spoken to John and Christy Olding.
So John Horgan said half an hour ago that when he talked to you, we both agreed that the Liberals have failed on a range of issues. Is that accurate?
That's an accurate statement. We both believe that the disparity between those who have and those who haven't clearly has got out of control. We both agreed on that education is our top priority, as we said on the steps of the legislature 2.5 years ago, and as we reaffirmed in our platform, has been let go or let aside. We both agreed that big money needs to be banned from politics. We both agreed on a number of issues, yes.
Would that lead you to say that you could support a Liberal government?
Again, it's too premature. We have to wait and see what happens with those absentee ballots. We have to wait and see, we don't even know the final results yet, and we know that there's quite a number of them. It could change, and so it would be premature for Adam, Sonia, and I to actually say to exclude anything at this point. Certainly, we're putting our platform and our priorities forward and enjoying the conversation.
Is there a model for a formal arrangement? Any cooperation you pursue? Are you studying other minority governments? Is there something in writing that you would see?
There's a whole bunch of models that exist. Again, for us, the single most important thing to do is to ensure that good public policy is put forward. We're above the partisan rhetoric. We want to ensure that the values that we brought to the legislature, which were clearly supported by a large number of British Columbians, actually flow over into any working arrangement we have with any of the other political parties.
Is that a deal breaker as well?
Proportional representation is one of our 6 guiding principles at the participatory democracy. It is who we are. This is why in our platform we said that we would introduce proportional representation, and if we were to have a referendum, it would be after the fact. It's something that we're going to bring to the table, and we'll discuss with other political parties as well. It's pretty important to us as one of our 6 guiding principles.
You've tripled your seats and doubled the popular vote. Where did the green vote come from, and did it take most for the Liberals again?
Well, this is what I've said all along. I mean, it actually is somewhat irritating to Greens for the media pundits to somehow suggest that Greens solely take NDP votes. It's clearly not the case. Look at West Vancouver Sea to Sky. West Vancouver Sea to Sky, we finished second, very strong second. Parksville, Qualicum, look there. Look at Round Victoria. We know that we inspire people to vote for something, not against something. And those people are inspired from across the political spectrum. In some ridings we may have taken some people who voted Liberal historically. In others it may be NDP. But we know in all ridings that people who have never voted before will come out because now they finally see something to vote for.
Andrew, you promised that more people voted for change for the status quo. Do you agree with that?
I agree. Clearly, I agree with that. It's clearly, I agree with that, because we know, for example, we have a lot of people who've come across to support us, who have historically supported Liberals and also NDP. Clearly, they were voting for change. If they were, both of us were suggesting that change is important, and we'll see how that plays out.
You promised to do politics differently.
Yes.
How is that going to be possible if you decide to strike a coalition with either party?
Again, we have it's an interesting question. I mean, I would argue that during the last 4 years in the legislature, I spent a good deal of time working with whoever I could to ensure that the policy, again, it's public policy first, partisan politics, we're not interested. Getting good public policy to the table and actually passed in a number of cases. That to me is what the priority needs to be, is ensuring that we get good public policy forward. It's a little, in a situation like this, obviously we have to compromise, but again, I think you'll see a lack of partisan rhetoric coming from our side, and we'll see how that.
How much pressure is on you right now? I mean, people are calling you a potential kingmaker, for either party. I mean, how much pressure you feel?
Actually, I feel more relaxed today than I have in several months. They'll be attest to it. The reason why I say that is I don't think anybody understands, unless they've actually run a campaign on the trail, how difficult it is. That to me was the most stressful thing I've ever done in my life. Talking today here is pales in comparison. So I'm relieved that the campaign's over. Again, when you do things for the right reasons, it's not stressful. I know that we got here to advance good public policy, and that's exciting. That's not stressful. That's exciting, and British Columbia's responded.
Are you more likely to form a coalition with supporting an NDP government in a Liberal one, given that you have more seemingly in common policy?
Again, we're reaching out to both leaders. I'm going to be chatting with Mr. Horgan later this afternoon. I'm going to be chatting with Ms. Clark later this afternoon. Again, it's premature at this stage until, we're obviously going to have meetings with both, but we need to see where those absentee ballots go. We need to see, from our platform, what the other parties believe in terms of what they can work with and what we can work with.
What are the biggest challenges you see in working, let's say, first with Mr. Horgan and then Ms. Clark?
Well, I don't see it as challenges. I've returned the question, what are the biggest opportunities? And for me, the biggest opportunities are that we can actually advance good public policy on education, on healthcare, on proportional representation, and getting big money out of possible. The opportunities are enormous. The challenges pale in comparison, because we know that if we're arguing for public policy and we're not trying to play partisan politics, other things.
Because one of the questions that was raised in the presser with John Horgan was some bad blood that perhaps has passed with you and working together.
No, look, but John and I have the exact same priority. The exact same priority is this: the people of British Columbia have to be put first and foremost in decision making. Whether John will say that he is a passionate guy, but I'm a passionate guy too. Sonia's a passionate person. Adam is a passionate person too. If you're putting people first, that doesn't matter. We'll work with John. I'd love to work with John. Actually, we had a great conversation last night on the phone, and I'm looking forward to another one this
When you mentioned compromise, how far are you going to touch on things like LNG and Site C, which your party is
Well, LNG doesn't exist. I don't know that I need any compromise on LNG. I've been saying this for 4 years. 100,000 jobs, a $100 billion prosperity fund, $1 trillion increase in GDP, debt-free BC. It was nothing like a pipe dream. There's no compromise there. It's just not happening. The compromise is honesty. The people of British Columbia have been sold a bill of goods by the Premier on LNG, and meanwhile, the actual areas that we should be investing in have not had the attention. So there's no need to compromise on LNG. There's no LNG coming to BC, and the quicker we actually realize and stop pretending and telling people that by squeezing a rock harder, we're going to get more water out of it. There's no water in that rock, and squeezing it harder does not bring water. LNG's passed us for a decade. In terms of Site C, we've been very clear that we would stop it. Mr. Horgan's been very clear that they would send it to the BC Utilities Commission. The BC Liberals have been very clear that they would keep it going. I think that you could probably see compromise positions in there that we'd be willing to work with.
This was considered a make or break election for the BC Greens. So assuming you continue to move forward, long term, what's your hope and goal for your party?
Well, without any doubt, this was a make and not a break for the BC Greens. And so, we could only grow from here.
Are you guys demanding official party status despite having 3 seats?
The BC Greens don't demand anything. We will work with other parties. I suspect other parties would be crawling over themselves to actually offer us official party status in light of where we stand today.
Is the Green Party tapped out at the moment? And does that
Financially?
factor into your thinking?
No, not at all.
Got tons of money?
Well, I wouldn't say tons of money, but when we banned union and corporate donations, our donations went through the roof. We did not go into debt. Everything has been paid for except my hotel bill from last night, and we're looking forward to the contributions are still flowing in.
Looking back, is that kind of the turning point for supporters turning away from the NDP when they refused to ban union and corporate donation? Did that hurt? How much did that hurt the NDP?
Again, that's a critical error that media keeps continually making. It's not turning away from the NDP. It's turning away from both parties. You know, this vote split narrative is unhealthy for democracy because it's not reflected in what happens there. You know, what happened there was we brought people from both parties. It was a critical turning point from both parties because we know that there's many Liberals who voted for us, not because they liked what the BC Liberals. Sorry, we know that many people have historically voted BC Liberal, not because what they like that they like them, but because they have fear of the Greens, as is the opposite of the NDP. And we know as well. We know as well that we brought from both sides, from both the Liberals, from the NDP. We know that they came because they viewed us as principled. We know that BC Conservatives voted for us because they know we were principled. We knew that people from a diverse array voted, and we know that non-voters voted for us.
79% of people in Saanich North Newfoundland voted yes.
That's amazing.
Andrew, given the breakthrough that occurred last night, do you feel like there would be an inclination or pressure on you to compromise in certain votes so as to not trigger an election and the public backlash on you?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and I'm glad you asked it. Again, BC Greens are committed to working with whichever party we end up working with, and we're not in it for partisan politics. We're not in it to play early elections to try to gain more seats. We could work for the full 4-year term with any other party because for us it's about the public policy, and we understand compromise and we understand collaboration.
And given your focus on policy, what do you think you share more in common with based on your platform?
The pundits have to write their columns tomorrow. I'm going to leave that up to the pundits to determine which platforms we have more commonality with. Again, saying that now would preclude any kind of discussions, and so pundits can do that.
If you had to put this remarkable result down to one factor, what would it be?
Principle and integrity and trust. Those are the 3 words.
One more question. You all good? Oh,
You mentioned about that, the recent time in LNG and there were things that you discussed with the energy. What do you think in the economy would be decisions? What would you like to see?
The clean energy sector, the tech sector, working with First Nations in a bottom-up approach to bring tech together with resource development, recognizing Indigenous rights. This is why we have barriers in moving forward in BC because of the top-down way that we've done things in BC. The way we've done things historically. This company comes to the government, works out a deal, and tries to market it to the people. That's not the way you actually get stuff done. We need to have a more bottom-up approach to resource development with Indigenous people, but also focus on the tech, bringing that together with the resource sector, focusing on people instead of corporate union donors first.
okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Julian.
You notice your scrums are getting bigger?
Yeah.
You just
yes,
wait.
I did.
Thank you, everybody.